And an interviewer asked him, was like, "Oh, so why are you supporting to remain in Canada when all your friends want to separate?" It's like, well, there's tons of peer pressures at this age, you know, like there's pressure to drink, there's pressure to smoke. I've never been affected by peer pressure. He's always been a total
always
dick.
Talked like that. Hello, and welcome back to This Week in Canada. I believe this is now episode 5. This is 5 weeks now. We've been doing this podcast, and it's still really fun. Nico is my co-host, Nico Johnson, the political correspondent at the Post Millennial. I'm Roberto Wakerel Cruz, again from the Post Millennial. And boy, I know we say it every week, but we had quite an eventful week again.
Another crazy week. When will it stop?
Oh, it's too crazy all the time. So this week we've got a few things that were going on today. The past week we had the Cancel Canada Day, people, which I'm going to talk about first. You had a nice interview with Leslyn Lewis, the
Dr. Leslyn Lewis to you, Roberto.
Dr. Leslyn Lewis.
She was wonderful, very nice person, and I'm looking forward to her becoming the next leader of the Conservative Party, inevitably.
We can all hope so. We can all hope. Not that I'm biased in any way, of course. I'm impartial, and I don't pick teams. Then we have some really interesting stuff going on with Trudeau's We charity, the Me to We charity that we have been hearing so much about.
Is this another Trudeau corruption scandal?
And perhaps the most salacious of our topics we're going to touch on at the end is a video during Trudeau's Canada Day message to Canadians, where he kissed his wife, I guess we can say, and it looked really uncomfortable. So let's start. I'm actually kind of excited because I have a lot to say about the first topic that we just brought up, was Cancel Canada Day. Now, I don't know if anyone saw that Cancel Canada Day was trending on Canada Day.
Yeah.
Tough word to say, by the way, Canada Day. Where a bunch of people across Canada were calling for the cancellation of this country's birthday because...
Exactly.
I don't know.
How is this supposed to work? If you cancel Canada Day, just not have a national day? Or perhaps you have to find another day to celebrate. But it comes from the Black Lives Matter movement, which obviously sweeps across the American border. And now everyone has been in lockdown for too long. And as a result of that, they're just burning stuff down, literally, in some cases, if you're in Montreal like I was, and figuratively. They just want to attack history because either Western civilization is dying, which I think it is, and they're also really bored. And those two things together are just really not good. And this is why we're seeing stuff as it's so nonsense, total nonsense as Cancel Canada Day.
Well, you already kind of know what they're going to talk about when you hear Cancel Canada Day, right? Yeah. Indigenous genocide, which was obviously an atrocity and not something that we're proud of. Chinese labor, blowing up Chinese people to build the railway system, not a really pretty thing, really embarrassing for our country. But that's not what we're celebrating. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's Canada Day, man. You're supposed to be grilling. That's what we're celebrating. We're celebrating our country's good, the highlights of our country that we all love and enjoy, the things that everyone gets out of this country, and grilling. We all love grilling and barbecues, which we can't really do this year. So we're all kind of stuck at home making pork chops on the stove. But the wanting to cancel a celebration that isn't, we're not celebrating how hard we pwned the natives. We're celebrating the things that we all enjoy in this country.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. These people, and I know them very well because my very close family are a part of this sort of age and demographic, and they're as radical as these people are. So, I know what they're like. I'm almost like a spy in this movement. And they don't understand moral ambiguity, or they don't think it should apply to anything. So you're either virtuous or you're evil. And in reality, nobody's virtuous. Even Gandhi, when I was in grade 5, we held up Gandhi as a great symbol of peace and everything that's good in this world. Now, he's getting desecrated in London because he had, and it's true, he had bad views about African Americans, or Africans in general, I suspect. And it's not really the point. You're not putting him on a pedestal. to celebrate the fact that he was a racist. You're putting him there because he peacefully, sort of, separated from Britain. And it's the same thing with statues. John A. Macdonald. And firstly, can I say about John A. Macdonald, the bad stuff he did is so exaggerated. It's like they're begging.
What exactly did he do?
Well, his detractors claim that he had bad views about indigenous people and he wasn't good with women. But however, having said that, he expanded enfranchisement or the franchise to women, which was later taken away. That's how progressive he was, right? It's like as soon as he left office, people came in and took away the fact that he expanded franchise for women. So it's like, yeah, if he was living in 2020, he'd probably be a misogynist, but he wasn't. You know, he was in the 1800s, and actually he did quite a lot of good things for progress in that regard. And same with so he is credited, I don't know if credited is the right word, with setting up residential schools. But Pierre Trudeau oversaw the establishment of certain residential schools. So when are we going to stop this? And even then, residential schools are obviously awful. But you have to remember the age from which these guys came. You can't judge it's like the most basic lesson of history. You can't judge people by the moral standards of the age you're living in. It's so stupid. These people are just idiots.
We are. And that's a new thing. That's a new thing that we all do. Gandhi apparently sucks. I thought I didn't even. Yeah, he didn't like black people. Winston Churchill. I don't even know what they're saying. They're saying maybe he oversaw a famine in India once. I don't really.
Which, by the way, really disputed. Not necessarily.
And look, man, every historical figure, and this is just history, has something that isn't something you would like to highlight today.
Yeah,
Albert Einstein, who basically invented science, besides Newton, Albert Einstein, who invented the speed of light or whatever, wasn't too hype on Chinese people. Really thought they were really weird and gross, and didn't actually. One of the craziest things he said was he didn't even know how the Chinese civilization could survive so long because he didn't know how anyone would ever want to have intercourse with Chinese women. So he thought the civilization should have died out a long time ago.
Right.
And there's Albert Einstein still, are we going to cancel science next? Is that what's next? Is the speed of light E = MC squared? Is that all out the window now?
Yeah. No, it's terribly, terribly silly. And it's so depressing as well. This is supposed to be a light-hearted podcast, but every week... I'm not joking here, my close family go out and start throwing stuff at national heroes. And it's like, how am I supposed to have some levity in this when, people, my own brood, are going out and attacking Winston Churchill? It's like, come on. The guy is better than all of us combined. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, maybe we should move on. Maybe we should move on to something. Maybe we should move on to something that you did this week. That was really cool and fun, and that you interviewed Dr. Leslyn Lewis.
Dr. Leslyn Lewis. Dr. Lewis. Yeah, she's a wonderful person. I had a wonderful discussion. You should check it out, Talking Politics, on our YouTube channel. Our producer will be very happy I did that. Soft plug. Anyway, I think her campaign has been surging in recent weeks. She's really been gaining in the polls. She's raised an unfathomable amount of money.
A lot of money.
And you have to put it into perspective, right? So she's in third place in fundraising, but she's raised over $1 million. And when she came into this contest, no one knew who she was. So the fact that she was able to do that is really impressive. And it's because there's a few reasons. She's a really impressive person. She has a PhD in law. I certainly wouldn't be able to do that.
And she has a degree in environmental science.
And for a conservative, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And she's so, it's I think it's because she's so principled. So, for instance, Andrew Scheer, loves milk, and he didn't tell people about his social conservatism. I think, Dr. Lewis said this in the podcast. He took the wrong advice, and so he tries to hide it so as not to scare Canadians or
right.
the GTA Laurentian people about his views on abortion. Dr. Lewis is very, very open about it. She'll talk about it happily. And when you actually talk to her about the policies she's going to invoke if she were to become Prime Minister, it's things that are pretty reasonable. It's stopping really late-term abortions and stopping gender-based abortions, which sounds like
pretty reasonable stuff. Pretty good things to me. You think that'd be more of a feminist issue, sex-selective abortion?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it shows how far we've come, how, Western civilization is dying and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But, she's really clever. There was one drawback, though, which I found a bit disappointing. But I will caveat it, actually slightly later. She wasn't particularly aware of policy. She was you could tell she wasn't a politician. And perhaps, you're sitting here and you say, oh, that's a really good thing. But because of that, the consequence of that is she just doesn't necessarily know what she's talking about when it's, about precise politics. Whereas MPs do, because they're briefed on it. So here's what I'm thinking. I don't think Leslyn Lewis is going to win this.
Definitely not.
I think it's either going to go to Peace McKay or Erin O'Toole. However, give her 5 years. Let her learn French. Let her become briefed in policy. And you have a leader who could kick Trudeau's, soul out of him. It would be wonderful. And I'm just waiting for that,
Yeah, like when we watched the debates, both the French and the English. The French was nothing really to write home about. Her French is pretty awful. Given she's only
awful.
It was the worst French I've ever heard in my life, to be fair. But you know what? She tried. She went out there. She only did, 3 months of French lessons and somehow managed...
Less than that, 24 hours of French lessons. Yeah.
24 hours. Okay, She did 24 hours of French lessons. Managed to somehow muster up some answers, even though she read the wrong answer sometimes. That's fine. I'll forgive her for now. The English debate's still a little bit not too impressive. It was better than the French one. I don't know if that's saying much, but you could tell there's like a nugget of gold there that is like it just needs to be polished. It needs to be like I should have used a plant analogy. So she needs to grow, because you could tell that like you said, give her 5 years, give her 10 years.
Yeah.
If I would say she's going to lose in the next in the contest, but you got the scoop. She's going to run to be an MP after she inevitably, unfortunately, loses. So give her a few years as an MP. Make her a parachute candidate. Put her somewhere where she's going to win. The Conservative Party clearly would want that. She's a clear benefit to the party. I would think. There's no reason why they wouldn't want to have her. And you know what? It would just be great if, say if Trudeau wins again, we would have a black female go up against a guy who did blackface infinity times.
Yeah, because here's like the Liberal tactic, right? What they do is they go through every single candidate's Twitter feed who's running to be a Conservative, and they go through the leader and they drag stuff up from the past. Yeah. If Trudeau attempted to do that to Leslyn Lewis, and I bet he's going to try, because that's all he has, he's going to find something that Leslyn Lewis said, and then everyone's just going to sit back and say, hold on, this is a black woman you're trying to stop becoming Prime Minister of Canada. Aren't you like a part of the problem? And what we're going to see, there's going to be this huge, it's going to be, I do not compute. Like, have you seen the Futurama episode where the computer can't work out what's going on? Yeah. They're going to try and call Leslyn Lewis a racist, but they're going to realise they're racist for calling her a racist. And they're going to lose. And it's going to be wonderful. And I can't wait.
She might be a shining star in the Conservative Party very soon. We hope so, because it's fair to say the camp at the Conservative Party right now, the party's in a pretty weak state, and we need more all-stars. I think there's a couple people that are going to be, you can tell they're in their AAA, kind of like a baseball analogy, like AAA. They're about to be all-pro. I think Garnet Genouille, we've talked about before. Good. That guy is an all-star.
Even Jason Kenney.
Jason Kenney is pretty much who you would want to run in a federal election.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's just enjoying Alberta too much, I think. He's on holiday, effectively. Alberta, okay, I imagine a lot of you guys listening are from Alberta. Alberta had a Conservative government for 40 years straight. That's how conservative that province is. I think they've had different variations of Conservative Party win or lose. Yeah. And then, for the first time ever, Rachel Notley, an NDP candidate, not even a Liberal, won and then was immediately flattened by Jason Kenney. So... It's like heaven for Conservatives.
It's fair to say I don't think there'll ever be an NDP government in Alberta ever again. That it seemed like an experiment that just went off the rails. I don't know if you've ever heard what Albertans have to say about the NDP or Trudeau, but it's not real nice. Not real nice stuff.
Not very nice.
No, and of course in the last election,
sometimes.
Sometimes it can be a little rough. Even in that last election, we saw that the Conservatives won. I think it was every single seat in Alberta besides Edmonton Centre to the NDP, which
you don't even want to win.
No, who cares? It's just a bunch of students. Students suck.
Students suck. Totally suck. And actually, I think we can move on to that point.
Sure.
Okay, here's the thing. I hate students, and it's because I know them, right?
Yeah,
they don't deserve your money. I'm saying it now. They don't deserve anything from your pocket. You know, unless it's like your own student. If you spawned them, then yeah, give them some money. But other people's kids, you shouldn't pay for them. Anyway, Justin Trudeau disagrees, and the way I know that is because he spent $900 million.
Almost $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion. I'm so glad I'm not going to be here for next year's taxes. Anyway, on a coronavirus relief package for students. Now, there's a few issues with this. Firstly, the most basic one is that he's paying students to volunteer. And he's not paying them minimum wage. He's paying them like $10 an hour. So they're already in a massive labour dispute, which is really funny. Secondly, he gave the $900 million not to the civil service for this program. He gave it to a charity, which is weird. And it's the Me charity or We whatever. And it's run by the and it's run by these two twins who I sort of I had to grow up with because they're everywhere. Like Bobby and I are both from Ontario, and actually we were talking about this. My school, every year we did We charity events. Like for instance, they'd make us get a bucket of water, and actually just a bucket, walk down like 10-minute walk to a river and bring it back to school. And it was a way of like standing in the shoes of African women's, but it was terrible. It was terrible. So I have a lot of like, perhaps I'm biased here, but I hate them. So again, there's no reason why the civil service shouldn't do this. But anyway, Trudeau gave it to this charity. Now here's where it becomes a bit weird, right?
Yeah.
This is Trudeau's favourite charity. His wife has a podcast. The Kilberger twins, who founded the charity, donated to Justin Trudeau's leadership campaign. They know each other very, very well. So they're donors, as I said. Justin Trudeau always appears at We charity events, and they've spoken warmly about each other. So the fact that Justin Trudeau is giving this money to a charity for no particular reason to install this program is really weird. And then yesterday, we found out that this charity used the money that was given by the government to give themselves essentially 450 jobs that they don't have to pay the wages for. Is coming from the government, so they just boost their staff by 450 people, and they don't have to pay for it. And they're using it's just the implications of this are so stupid, and I don't know how he gets away with it.
This is the dumbest scandal of them all,
No.
because it's so unnecessary. It's not like there's anything to lose by not giving them this money. You know what I mean? This is such a pointless, stupid thing that he's doing for absolutely no gain. I don't think anybody in the entire Canadian public cares about the We charity. And these are taxpayer dollars, of course, 900 million of them. Our money. Why is it going to charities that no one cares about, that is just his wife's friends?
Yeah. It's so, and here's the best thing about it, I actually forgot this point. So Justin Trudeau said, oh no, this wasn't my decision. This wasn't anyone in the government's decision. This was a decision made by bureaucrats. So he said that. A day later, the National Post revealed that the next day after Trudeau gave his money, Kilberger, one of them, who knows, the Kilby, sort of went on to a Zoom conference and said, guys, guess what? Fucking the PMO just awarded us this huge contract. Just got off the phone with them, and then he had to come out and said, I misspoke. I meant to say the Agency of Transportation.
I don't even know what to really say about this. Trudeau, again, is I think Spencer Fernando wrote an article for us that was pretty much how I feel about this. He just thinks he can get away with this stuff because no one has ever held him to account on anything in his life. It's really just, the blackface thing was obviously, I don't know how he got away with it pretty unscathed. Seems like that should have been a total torpedo.
SNC-Lavalin should have brought down his government. This may, this has some teeth to it.
It probably won't, though. That's the thing. Because our media's lazy. He's never going to get asked about this. He's just recently, thank God, I would say, just switched to weekly press conferences now, so we don't even get a daily dose of him. But granted, that was probably the time to ask him about this kind of stuff. Get in there, Canadian media. You're so lazy. You just sit on your asses all day and let them get away with murder, charity, murder, blackface, just everything. It's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing.
And it all stems down to the fact that our media that's too lazy. So in Britain, if anything minor, it could be nothing. It could be nothing. These guys are so competitive and they want as much money as possible that they'll make massive scandals out of molehills all the time, once a week. And so there's people dropping out of government like dead flies. It's wonderful. In Canada, there's none of that because they get a massive bailout from the Trudeau government every $600 million. So they don't need to earn their living. It's almost like this is what happened with the communist economy in the USSR. There are no incentives to get people to work, and now we have a media who just sits on their arse all day. Yeah, and just reports on systemic racism all the time. And don't get me wrong, it's important. Yeah, there needs to be some, debate about it. But for God's sake, it doesn't all have to be about systemic racism. The Toronto Star, every article is about systemic racism or racism in Canada. It's give it a break. There's other things going on.
He's basically rigged the game so that he can't lose. It's almost impressive. It pisses me off, and I go to bed angry about it. Anyway, I think should we maybe move on to something a little lighter that we can really because he gets us so mad. I kind of want to make fun of him, and so this is the perfect opportunity to make fun of him because Justin Trudeau, you could tell he was kind of a hot shot. He's pretty handsome. Yeah. He's got a nice beard, got nice hair.
I mean, we're talking about this. There's a video of him from when he was 17 and he was in high school, and it was during the Quebec independence referendum.
Yes, I've seen that.
And an interviewer asked him, so why are you supporting to remain in Canada when all your friends want to separate? He's well, there's tons of peer pressure at this age, there's pressure to drink, there's pressure to smoke. I've never been affected by peer pressure. He's always been a total dick.
He's always talked like that.
Yeah.
This is the thing. He didn't just learn how to talk like that as a drama teacher. This is just actually how he talks.
He's never grown up. He's a child.
He's still 17 years old. And you can tell he was probably in college. I'm sure he's the prime minister's son. He's probably doing well with ladies. And then he meets his wife, his lovely wife, who they met at Elsa's. I've been there, I eat there. They have good chorizo quesadillas. He meets his wife at Elsa's, and she's a lovely girl. They get married 15 years ago, and they fall in love. They have 3 kids, and I'm not ripping on any of the family. I'm just gonna focus on a kiss between Justin Trudeau and his wife Sophie Gregoire.
It wasn't good.
James, do you want to play the video here? So just give it a watch. It's only a few seconds.
It's 4 seconds, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, there it is.
It's bad. It's not good. I tell you what, if my parents were to kiss like that, I'd begin trying to figure out who I want to live with.
Look at how Justin puts his It's almost like it was a task for him to kiss his wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever seen in my life. The way he looks away and puts his hands in his pockets.
It was Sophie Trudeau who I think had the most telling reaction. So Trudeau had to tell Sophie to kiss him. It's hey, we should probably kiss at the cameras there. And she's oh, okay, I guess. They kiss each other, and immediately, lasting a second, she spins her head like a brutal turnaround immediately. And flips her hair. It almost pelts Trudeau in the eye, and it's I don't know. Look, we're journalists. We can't really speculate. But if I were to speculate, I don't think they're together.
It's certainly pretty weird. It looked it's almost like if you had an aunt that you see once a year at Christmas, and she insists on getting a kiss on the lips. And you're just
yeah.
God. Oh, Jesus. It's one of the grossest things I've ever seen. And, I'm not going to get too into it. I don't want to rip them too hard for this. But it certainly is. It makes me sad. And like you said, if I saw my parents kiss like that, I would reckon there's something really rotten in the state of their marriage,
Yeah, I wouldn't be too enthused about the whole deal. I don't know. Maybe Trudeau just had a terrible breath or something. I could, but even then, I think if you're married, I've never been married, but I presume if you're married, you put up with that stuff when you're on national television to kiss someone. Yeah. You don't react like you just I don't know, had a bit of vape liquid in your mouth. It's really bad.
All right, and out of all that fun news, lighthearted news, this is what we focus on this show is lighthearted fun news. We do have a segment that we love called Loser of the Week. And Nico, let's get the graphic up. Thank you, James. Awesome, James. Nico, who would you reckon is the loser of the week?
It was tough competition this week, fellas. Roberta and I have been discussing this for many an hour. We sat down last night and we went through all the candidates. But I think, inevitably, it has to be Derek Sloan. Now, this may be controversial, right? Why is Derek Sloan... We haven't even talked about Derek Sloan in this podcast. Why is he being awarded Loser of the Week? Where has he even been for the last 2 months? That's a good question. I'll tell you why. It's because Derek Sloan has been totally punched out, I don't know, by Leslyn Lewis. Do you remember when he was going to be the social conservative candidate? Leslyn Lewis came around, who's just better in every single way. So he's going to fade into irrelevancy. Peace McKay, I've heard, wants to kick him out of the party, and some of his MPs do. That's pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if Derek Sloan's going to recover, and for that reason, he is
the loser of the week.
Love to hear it.
Also, I'm just going to throw it out there. We might have a few viewers that are supporters of Derek Sloan.
Perhaps.
I'm just going to say right now, and this might get people upset, stop supporting him. That's a stupid idea. That's an awful idea. You're not going to win. You're not going to go anywhere. Just get on the Leslyn train, dude. She's clearly, she's not going to win, right? But we need to at least make it seem like she was plausibly the best candidate. If she got second place, that would even be amazing. I would be over the moon. Somehow, if she managed to do that.
If all of Sloan voters went over to Lewis, she would actually become extremely competitive. Extremely, extremely competitive. So I don't know why Sloan's still in this. I think Sloan should drop out and endorse Lewis. Actually, I don't even know if that would help Lewis, to be honest.
Yeah, I know a guy. His name is, and he supports Derek Sloan, and he's a loser. So you should not support Derek Sloan. James might have to beep out the name that I just said there. But you should not support Derek Sloan because everyone I know that supports him is a bit of a loser.
Yeah. Big virgin energy from anyone who supports Derek Sloan.
All right, it is 1,000,000 degrees in this office. I think we covered all of our topics. Nico, I think that's it for the show this week, man.
I think we sourced it, and it's been great fun. I have to say thank you, everyone, for listening in. We love you. We love you. I don't know why you keep doing it, but we honestly, I would buy you a drink. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Bobby?
Thank you for showing up. Give us a like, a comment, subscription. Anything helps. We're going to keep doing these until people stop showing up. And even when they stop showing up, we're still going to do it because we're tenacious and we're sexy.
And it takes an hour out of the workday.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Happy Canada Day.